Hello, Scorpio. This is your reading for June 9th, or whenever you hear it and it resonates. Now, this won't be for the entire Scorpio collective. I wasn't sure I was going to read today because I've had a bit of a cold, but I started getting these images dropping into my head, and they were so specific, I felt like I needed to do this. So here it is. There you are with, the first thing I see is a pin cushion, the kind that you would wear on your wrist. And it's in the shape of a heart, and it's really, really plush, and it's satin pink. And I see you putting pins into it, and I'm going, oh, is that like, is your heart getting hit? And it was no, because the next thing I see is there's a model there standing in a beautiful lace wedding dress, and what you're doing is you're taking out the pins to let out the seams because the dress has become too tight. Now, does this mean that it's about a marriage situation that has become constrictive? Could be, but it could be any commitment that you've made because marriage is commitment, right? So it could be partnership of any kind, but it could also be a marriage to an idea. So what I really like about this image, Scorpio, is that the fact that the pincushion is pink and that it is a heart and that you are in charge of taking out the pins. To me, what this is really about is you being able to live more confidently and comfortably from a place of self-love and understanding what that means. And in this case, what I feel it means is that you are really genuinely being able to identify the areas that have been constricting you in your life in a way where you haven't been able to really breathe. Now, what does that mean? Well, breathe. To me, breathing, it's life, it's abundance, it's vitality. The more breath a person has, the more vitality they have. The more energy running through their system, the better the system is running, the healthier it is. And breath is air, it's emotion. So I feel like this is, and because the fact it's a wedding dress as well, that is very emotional. And it is also, now I didn't know this. I didn't think of it. It's a rite of passage. A marriage is a rite of passage. So whatever the rite of passage has been, or is going to be, and I say going to be because as I said, whatever it was, I was reminded of the fact that this is a wedding dress that is being altered. So it could be a rite of passage that's coming up. But what I'm getting with this, my dears, is the three key cards that I get here are struggle, neutrality, and a new day. So for me, this is struggle. In this case, it's really talking about when you can walk away from a situation, even for a little while, just mentally. Very often, that's when whatever the solutions need to be show up in terms of your intuition or in synchronicity around you. And so if this is about a situation where there is struggle, because remember, it could be a literal marriage or a partnership of some kind. It could be a situation that you have been married to. It could be a way of belief that you have been married to, in other words, loyal and committed to. Could be any one of those things. So if that's the case, you're being told, struggle can become kind of a habitual way of life. So this is kind of asking you to take a new approach to it. It's saying, okay, just instead of trying to analyze it and figure it out, which we know is a real Scorpio thing, because you want to understand all the nitty-gritty detail and the motivations and the reasons. That's just the way your mind works. You dig for stuff, you look for stuff. And it's part of what makes you so thorough and so complete in whatever you do. When it's out of balance, it can create a certain quality of almost obsessiveness around an issue, which can lead to other energies around obsessiveness, maybe a little bit of paranoia, maybe a little bit of, I'll just stop with that. So what I'm getting here with you guys is this. If you are in a state of struggle right now around something, you are being asked to step back and notice that if you can take a neutral position in this. If you can, for this moment, let it slide by you. So neutrality, think of it like a Tai Chi approach where you let the person move by you, or a karate approach where you fight. You're being asked to take the Tai Chi approach. For now, let it just play itself out. Let the energy of the situation move by you without landing on you in a way where it hits you. If this involves another person, what I think is really interesting to look at within the context of this particular card and struggle is, excuse me, in Tai Chi, the whole concept is letting the opponent use their own energy against themselves. By not trying to interfere and change it and fight back, it's their momentum that will take them to the place where you would rather them to be. Or at least not in contradiction with you. And you're also being asked that you look at life from the perspective of it's a new day. How would you deal with this situation now if it was not backed with all of this history? Can you imagine looking at it as though there was no history to this situation? There was no knowledge, previous knowledge of this person or whatever, and just look at it with new eyes. Because while understanding a history might be helpful, by understanding the ins and outs of whatever might have been part of this relationship or this situation, might in some ways be very helpful. Excuse me. What's being suggested now is that try looking at it without that, because this might give you information that is important in terms of you being able to deal with it more comfortably with more neutrality. And it doesn't mean to say that after you do that, you don't go back and consider the history, for sure. However, this is giving yourself a break, and this goes away beautifully with the struggle card, which is just stepping away from it for a while and mentally just letting that go. So I feel like the New Day card, the asking you to look at it with new eyes without the history, is directly linked to the struggle card, which is saying if you step aside for a little bit. Okay? So I'm going to leave you with that because I am losing my voice a bit. And it's clear that Lulu needs a bit more attention because I have been laid up for the last 24 hours. Okay, that's it for you, my dear Scorpio. Again, remember, please, that you are on the, now this is something I'm getting now, you are on the fast track of spiritual evolution, Scorpio. And you have done the groundwork. And now this is you applying it, which I feel it is for many of us right now. This is learning how to apply those higher concepts to your advantage with self-love and compassion and the here and now table and chair reality of life, okay? Never forget that you have spiritual support and that the angels are with you, okay? Take care.